I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Tennis Manager. This is episode 23. Short-term plan now that we completed the long-term goal for uni by getting all those 13s and everything except the skill shots. Naturally, we want to bring everything along to an elite level, which is 18 plus, but that's really hard to do. So you got to kind of set the bar somewhere else, a 15 or a 16 if you want to bring that along, but that's not my next goal. My next goal is to actually just make some rapid progress across the board that's going to push uni into the next level for this coming season. And that means just train things that are close. So looking at positioning, focus, reflexes, speed, smash, serve accuracy, forehand power are all close to their next level. We're going to begin with those things, push those on to that next level, and then I'll pick and choose kind of a next focus, a next target, maybe a 16 overall and everything, which really wouldn't be that hard as we have a lot of 16 pluses already, or a lot of attributes that are fairly close to that now, especially once we make this little push and get those few easy points gained. But with 3 weeks to go, I'm going to get a little training done, and then we'll check back in and see how much we've been able to do in 3 weeks. The first of these 3 weeks is the Grand Slam that we were just in, out in the first round Monday. So we've got the rest of the week of training plus 2 additional. Still haven't reached the end of the season. It's only September, and new player Tyra, Katarina Grant, first one we signed, things are not going so well. So she's still only 1.5 stars. Her potential is 3 plus, could be more, but it's definitely a sophomore, and her progression has been very slow. Over the course of this year, I have focused on supplementing her training schedule, her regular training schedule, still maintained by the AI, but I supplement it with additional trainings here and there when that's a possibility. Now, her schedule is handled by her coach directly, and she's done a lot of tournaments, and she has not played well in those tournaments. So her ranking hasn't really improved. She's just barely climbed inside the top 50. I think she started top 70 in the youth ranks, so really not a big gain, partially because she hasn't done a whole lot of training. Now, that supplemental training that I've done has pushed her speed from, I believe, a 6 up to a 9, so plus 3 development over the course of this season. Let's see how close is that. Physical average has gone up a lot over the course of this year, but still not good. It's past her mental average, and her technical average is way behind. Obviously, to go from an 8.75 to a 9.75 in the physical attributes, it's going to take more than a plus 3. It's going to take a plus 1 average of all of those, which there's 7 of them. But it's easy. Natural fitness goes up by 1 or 2 from all the tournaments she's been playing. So there's 4 or 5. Stamina may have gone up to get to that 6. Maybe the agility went up, and there's your 7 points. She progresses really slow. This last week was one of those big time training of speed weeks. She's only a 9. 2 full sessions added in directly for speed, and she only gained 20%. So Grant is very, very slow to progress right now. She has not done well, and the reason why I bring all this up is our relationship has only gotten worse. Grant is not at all happy with what her goals were for the year. A quarterfinal in the Junior Grand Slam round of 16 was as far as she actually made it with the quarterfinal, the objective. She has actually made junior ranking top 10 US, but she wanted to be top 30 overall. She's not going to make the finals, and she's done nothing. We tried to get her into a rookie tournament. She only made it as far as 3rd qualifying round and didn't make it in, and that's to a low level tournament. So she can't get into anything here to make any sort of ranking, Anyway, the season's almost done. We're not achieving anything. She's not happy. And she's asked to terminate the contract. At this point, I'm okay with that. Grant progresses really slow and does not have a high end anyway. I wanted to see both of those players, Jovic and Grant, stay with us, see them develop, see them become the players they could become, because they're the first signings we have. But there's a lot better players out there. So I don't know if we can sign them yet. I didn't think it was time to make that kind of move, but she's kind of pushing it on us. It is late September, so I'm going to finish out the year with just two, and then try to do it, in December. See if we can sign somebody in December. So we're letting it go. She is going. Jovic, in a bigger tournament, comes through the qualifiers to this 250 tournament, and unfortunately her first round draw is against the number 1 seed, 11th ranked Corey Goff. Outstanding teenage talent. And Goff, into the second round. 2 sets. Uni's here and high enough to get a seed in her rankings now at 71. 10 seed. Decent first round matchup. Really difficult, likely second round matchup with Frivertova. But hey, if we can get through one round, that would be good points for Uni. Balanced match, and we do enough to beat Minin. So we are, I think now good enough to beat anybody outside of the top 100. No surprise that Frivertova is seen as a tough match, ranked 16th in the world. Still just 17 years of age. She was one of my players in Tennis Manager 2021 that we really brought along, and say she was probably our second or third most important player that we had. Goff was actually on our squad for a while too, but Goff underperformed with the other coaches. No surprise that she beats us comfortably. It's 1-6, 4-6, but we do get 5 aces in the match. That was good. 36 winners to 50. Unforced errors, not bad with 11 out of 128 points played. It was still a clean match, just Frivertova was better. More winners and cleaner. So following those 3 weeks and that tournament, this is where we do stand on that progression. Mental, we got focus up to a 17, positioning up to a 14, so leveling up both of those attributes, and that makes 3 out of those 4 at 17 plus, so looking really, really strong there. Positioning the only thing lagging behind a little bit, but 14 is obviously not bad. Physical side, we got the speed up to a 15, reflexes up to a 17. So we made those 2 quick gains, and she's looking pretty strong there with everything 15 plus, other than the stamina, which for a female player is fine at 13. On the technical side, did not make the gains there as of yet. You can see we are less than a percentage point away from the serve accuracy, and the forehand power is still close, and the smash is still close. Spins has also now gotten fairly close at 80%. So over the next weeks, those will be kind of my next focal points, getting those easy ones out of the way before we decide what to do next. I'm half tempted to get the positioning up to a 16 or 17 to make all of the mental attributes very, very strong and consistent. And positioning is obviously important. We've seen Uni out of position on a number of occasions. If she had a higher rating, it probably wouldn't happen as often as it does. Likewise, we have a few 15s and a 16. If we can push those all up to 16 or 17 or 18, then she would kind of hit elite status physically, and that would obviously be incredibly useful. Taking direct control of tournament registration, at least momentarily, has paid off for Jovic. Jovic now at least halfway satisfied with her season. Goal was top 250. She's up to 183. Qualify, she made it. Quarterfinal, she had a winner. Top 30, close at 34th. Juniors, not going so well besides that semifinal that she had. She wants to be top 5. wants to be top 3, but she is 5th. She's not far off, but it's hard to get that top 3 when you have Nagonye and myself Uni in the top 2. There's only one spot left. She is up to 29th overall, but she wants to be top 3. Just didn't quite happen. It's really hard to have a big gain World Tour goal and a big gain junior goal in the same season. You can make big gains in one place. It's really hard to make big gains in both. Our first season, we kind of did that, but that was prior to, that thing they did. That Voldemort, that he who shall not be named kind of moment. We've moved on from that. But it should maybe be enough that we're not going to lose her. It's not going to help with the morale at the end of the season, but hopefully she'll want to stick around. And we're only replacing 1, not 2. In comparison, Grant, was a 1.5, 3-star. We're looking at a 2, 3.5 to 5. So she's definitely the better of the 2 options, and I'd rather hang on to Jovic at this point than Grant. So I've thought about it some more, and here's what I've decided I'm going to do short term for Uni in terms of what to work on. So first off, positioning I do want to bring up. Just little OCD, it's lagging behind the focus, anticipation, and tactical skills, and I want her to be really strong at something, right? The first thing is I want her to be not bad at everything, outside of those skill shots that I'm okay with those coming along slower. But now I want her to excel at something. We're going to begin with mental because it's the closest to being there with 2 17s and an 18. I don't need them all to be 18s, but I want that positioning to come up to at least a 16. So that'll be my next focus. However, I don't need to do it all at once, because if we look at her, mental is already her strongest by far. And her physical average technically is actually the best along, because the mental average includes the 4 that you can't train, and those come along with age and experience. So those 2 things are already well beyond her technical average, and her technical average is where we've made the most gains this year, gaining more than 2 points over the last calendar year. I think that's where we still need to get some things done, because now, as I just leveled up backhand power almost across the board on everything outside of the skill shots, it's a 14. Serve power, half a level to go to be there with the others, but 14's good because we targeted 13 initially, and they're all there, but they're all still just right there. They're not at 15 and beyond. All the physicals are 15, 16, 17 with an 18, other than stamina, but again, that's like the skill shots, not as important. So right now, 1 mental attribute, which is certainly a shorter list than what you have in the physical or what you have in the technical attributes from being where we would really like them to be long term, it's only 1. So I do want to focus on getting positioning going up. However, I'm not going to do it all at once. I'm going to do a session a week for positioning extra until that's to either a 16 or 17. So that's going to take a while with only 1 session a week. But my other 1 to 2 supplemental sessions for the long term now are going to be in technical attributes, bringing those up to a higher level. 14 just doesn't quite, it's behind. It's definitely behind. Those skill shots need to get to, like 10 plus, so they're at least not bad. They're not going to be a strong suit for us for a while, but I don't necessarily want them to be bad. They don't need to be good. We don't need 13s yet. Smash, I brought that along to an 11. I'm going to mostly kind of keep an eye out as they organically get closer. You can see Lob right now at 60%. 1 more session of Lob is going to have it 70 plus, I would think, especially when it's only an 8. And then I'll look at that and go, hey, easy point, 1 session, poof, done. maybe 2 sessions. So I'll inch those along as we go through. But short term, I want to get the accuracy, the return, and the spins, start bringing those up. Bring those up to 16, 17, 18. So I think we're going to spend about 60% of our training continuing to just develop technically, get better and better. 40% on the mental until that reaches, 16 or 17. And then I'll do the same for the physical ones, get those 15s, bring them along. Agility is not far now, so somewhere along the way, I'll finish that off. As we go along. Definitely a different tactic than before, but I think it's a good way to make not only quick gains, but start pushing a couple things towards elite status, towards really good status in the technicals. Jovic through the semifinals, junior 500 tournament. She's into the final. Let her coach handle it. Their job, not mine. Loses in the final, but she made it to a major junior tournament final. That's going to help her ranking for sure. Having a hard time getting her into tournaments at the World Tour level. She's been denied on multiple occasions. Originally, I had left this week blank, but in the build-up to the finals and another tournament we were assigned to, but we'll see what that one is in a little bit, I found that I had too much of a break. I had a good 5-6 weeks of training alone because we've reached all of our targets for the year, and I was like, okay, sure, let's go extreme training. It's going to take more than one tournament to get us back to fit. So I've got 2 build-up tournaments, and this is the first of those. A 1 seed, difficult draw. We are the 1 seed, yet we get the 13 seed as a first round opponent, like losing in the first round. That's worse. Not necessarily worse because it was the draw. The draw set us up for this. How you could have 2 seeded players going head to head doesn't make much sense. But I do know that that's a reality. That is part of the sport. It just doesn't make much sense. I get having seeded players and not having others, but the seeded players in every tournament, they should be seeded. As in, you have a seed for a reason. It should be a specific place on the bracket that belongs to that seed. And then you draw the rest. But drawing the seeded ones as well just doesn't make much sense, or only having a couple seeded ones actually placed doesn't make much sense. But anyway, that's my 2 cents on that. We won a majority of the points but lost the match in the tiebreaker. Slightly fewer winners, better on the unforced errors. There's not much to suggest we should have lost this one, other than we had an unfortunate draw against somebody who was fairly good, and Uni has been a bit more consistent than Galfi, but that doesn't mean that Galfi isn't as good, if not better. It was a balanced match. Galfi might have been right about the same on paper, and it looks to be about the same. But not good for building up our fitness when we only get to play 1 match. By the way, absolutely love this addition to Tennis Manager 22. In the 21 version, it was really easy to forget about staff members and have their contracts expire and then be left going, and fill those spots. This time, I'm actually getting emails regarding re-signing contracts. These ones we want to expire. We have a level 1, level 3. We could do better in terms of staff, and we will replace them with better and let them expire naturally, but grateful for the email. Quick update on the infrastructure. So the Sports Center has largely been untouched since the very beginning of the year when we made a few quick upgrades. It's not bad, and it's at least not costing us money. It's well off of where everybody else is, and it will be the focus probably fairly early into next season. But the medical center is one of the areas that I've keyed in on this season, and you can see 4 out of 6 categories are now fully maxed out, and the other 2, the physical therapy and psychology department, both have active upgrades that will get those individual ones at 75% and get us fairly close. We'll only have 2 levels left to go to max out the medical center. In the youth and scouting, we are getting close to complete. We have 2 levels left for supervision tools. We've got a turn of the month coming soon. We have some cash. I've been holding off just a little bit, make sure we have funds, make sure we're good to go, and eventually, obviously, it makes perfect sense to me to just finish these 2 off to be done. Medical Center, Youth Scouting Center, we're already done with the Business Center. Now that we're almost to the turn of the month and we'll have a million to spare, I think we're good. Now's a good time. It unlocks another scout and trainer position. For us, a scout position is obviously a good one. That's going to take 3 months, but we'll have 1 remaining level to go after that one. So youth and scouting, nearly done. We've actually made the list of top 3 academies. Of course, Business Center, we're the only one to be fully done, and that's why the finances are coming along so easily these days. But those 2 won't take much longer. We're looking at 2 months plus a few, 3 months plus a few. So in roughly 6 months, we will be done with 3 out of 4 infrastructure categories, and we'll quickly turn our attention to the sports center at that point. And a lot of these upgrades, you can see, really aren't that expensive, so they'll come along fairly quickly, and 1 more upgrade will take care of many of them or get them within 1 remaining level. So by the end of next year, we may have 100% on our infrastructure, which would be a lot sooner than was expected. As an academy, we are to 3 stars now, so we have finally passed up some of the other academies. Upgrading some staff, a few more things finishing up in the next month and a half will push us a little bit higher. If we can get to 3.5 at the turn of the year, I think we'll have a much easier time signing better staff than we've had up to this point. Just to show how strong our finances are these days, we finished the month yesterday or 2 days ago on $954,000. We begin the month at 1.68 million. So we gained 680,000 plus another 40,000. So 720,000 in the course of 1 month. So we're making nearly $750,000 monthly in terms of profit right now. And as we go along, a lot of the upgrades we have are more expensive than they are generating income, but there's still a few that generate at least small amounts of income to kind of offset whatever costs there are. So our finances are probably as good as they're going to get on that. But at $700K a month, it's not hard to get in and, get upgrades going. There's 1 month, there's 1 month, there's 1 month, there's 1 month. By the way, that's not going to be 21 when you add that together. I mean, there's 1, it's less than 2. So 3 months pays for all 4 of those upgrades. Same as you go down here. I mean, there's 1 upgrade right there. 1 month worth of upgrades. This time it's 2 months worth of upgrades, but that means you've got 5 months to cover an upgrade for every single thing in the sports center that needs it in 5 months. Does not take long to generate that, and that's why we focused on that business center first. And yeah, we're in great shape now entering November. We've got the end of year tournaments coming up, but that's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.